everybody, and welcome back to the Sunday Satanist. I am joined, as always, by my friends.
Hi guys, it's Trinh.
And...
Hey, it's Fatal.
There we go.
Fatal.
So...
We're gonna get that right one day.
One day, not today. Sorry that we missed last week. We had a bit of recording conflict scheduling, but we're back in full tilt. Trinh will be gone for vacation, but hopefully we'll be getting the 2 episodes recorded before she leaves, so that we won't miss another week.
Yeah.
At least not another week so soon.
We keep fucking things up.
I don't screw anything up. What are you talking about?
Oh, I should have brought my knitting shit. Oh well.
No, we don't want the sound of you knitting.
Just crocheting.
Click, 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 click.
Well, no, it's just one hook. You won't hear anything.
Well, that's the crocheting, then, not knitting.
Whatever. Yeah, okay, whatever, man. I just woke up like 20 minutes ago.
That's true. That's legit true. I remember looking at the clock and it was like about 10 after.
Yeah.
Okay. This episode we are going into Trin's lovely life and being raised religious in her life and how that's kind of affected her a little bit. Currently, if you can hear some scratching noises in the background, I'm sorry, my cat's using a load of rocks.
Thinking that's... Here she goes running off.
Yep,
Okay,
yep.
So... It was a dark summer's eve, and... No, fuck it. A lot of my religion... My issues with my religion actually ties in with my mom, and so it's really hard to kind of differentiate the two, but I'm going to try because I have complained so much about her in real life. I'm going to try and not do that here. I was always a skeptical kid, like, from a very young age. I never believed in, like, Santa Claus. I never believed in the Tooth Fairy, and, all that shebang. And so I never really believed in Jesus and that kind of thing. But it was never they don't exist. It was kind of more of, like, in the back of my mind, I knew they didn't, but I'm still going to act like they do because everyone else believes them. And so... But it was when I was, like, I think, 7 years old, when I start realizing that how kind of fucked up how fucked up Christianity was, before I realized what fucked up actually meant. Stop stepping on me, cat! Like, Sophie's stepping in the back of the sofa, and she always uses me as a stepping stone, so...
She loves you!
God.
I can.
I'm gonna push you off the couch. Oh man, I can't talk today. I don't know words.
You did also just wake up 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, that's true. Anyways, so one of the first, I guess, flags for me was talking to my mom and complaining about the story of Cinderella and how as a kid, I always wanted a fairy godmother to grant my wishes and everything, and part of it was being selfish, and part of it was, I think, also tying into the fact that my mom, I had needs that weren't being met by my family, to put it clinically.
I'm just sitting here and I'm laughing a bit in my head because it totally, I know you said fairy godmother,
yeah.
but it totally sounded like you said furry godmother.
I mean, if a furry one will grant me wishes, that's totally fine.
Just a fox comes over and starts talking to you.
I'd be like, fucking yes, I am the next Disney princess. Anyways, and, Mom's always like, well, I think she either said Jesus is my fairy godmother, or I have my guardian angel, and I just remember thinking, like, that's such bullshit, because...
Jeebus! Jeebus!
Because, you always grew up with the fact that, oh, Jesus only helps, or God only helps those who help themselves. And I'm like, no, if I could help myself, I wouldn't need help from other places.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's just like, that's just
what sort of fucked up logic is that?
Yeah, and I'm just like, no, that's not how that works. Like, if I needed something, I need someone to help me. This isn't about, like, using brute determination or willpower to go through. It's, like, that's not how that works.
Yeah.
And so because of that that very young age of not wanting, of starting to not really like Christianity, and then having to endure about 12 years of going to church, I then have a now hard time listening to people, certain lectures. Because if I perceive them to be patronizing or to talking down to me, I immediately shut down. Because I'm just like, you're not gonna fucking to listen, because you're not gonna listen to what I'm gonna say. I'm just gonna cop out.
Yeah.
Because it's basic, because it subconsciously, or it reminds me of how the father talks at church.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's why I'm just like, no, I'm done. Ooh. Which is funny enough, because if you talk to the fathers at my church one on one, they're like perfectly fine. They're like really nice and everything. God, I have more, but I'm like lost of train of thought. So if you have any questions that will help me, like remind, like I can answer, that would be awesome.
No, I don't have any questions yet. I mean, sorry.
No, that's fair enough. I mean, like, what? I'm 5 minutes or 10 minutes into my own thing.
Pretty much.
So church. I'll just jump to the next event, big event. And my mom is a very, not only is she like a very hardcore Roman Catholic,
Ugh.
she's also a very hardcore traditionalist, which is understandable because she escaped Vietnam during the war in a very small fishing boat across the ocean to get to either, I think, Malaysia. I'm pretty sure I'm getting that country wrong because I always get it wrong. Where the water was about like 3 inches away from the rail, and they were constantly like, and because they were in like the neutral seas, they were constantly terrified of being raided by pirates or whatever.
Yeah.
Because that's what happened to the one other boat, and so, I'm 95% sure that my mom has some form of PTSD from that and has never got it treated.
Mm-hmm.
So, all that kind of accumulates to her grabbing on to Christianity as, I don't want to say clutch because that sounds bad, but basically it was as her safety blanket.
Yeah, yeah.
But the thing is, the way she uses Christianity to meet her needs, it doesn't meet my same needs, because I was born here in Canada. I didn't have to go through a war. I was, the firstborn. I'm privileged and born in such a diverse and beautiful country where I can get most of my resources, and, I'm not living in a place where racism is a major factor in my life. And, like, even now, it's just like I rarely notice when someone's being racist to me. I'm just like, oh, was that race? I don't know. Fuck it, move on. Like, so many times, my old roommate was just like, yeah, no, they've been racist to you, and I'm like, really? When? Like, so many times. And my mom doesn't really understand how it infuriates her that I don't like going to church, and she thinks it's because merely because I don't like sitting still and I'm bored. I mean, which is part of the reason, but that's also because I just don't give a shit. So, when you go to a place that you don't want to go, you're bored for that 1 hour, and that was a very big tension thing between my mom until I moved out, and I stopped going to church forever now.
At least she doesn't think, or people in the community don't think, that you're like the devil's child.
I don't know about the community, because like, who knows? But I'm pretty sure my mom thinks that I am on some level. Because don't you remember? I've told you, my mom, when she was so angry at me, she called me that I was the devil's spawn,
Oh, God.
and that I was God's curse on her because she must have made a mistake on one of her past life.
Oh, I remember the God's curse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is something that my mom has called me, and she.
Wait, I'm confused about something.
What?
She's Christian.
Roman Catholic, yeah.
But she believes that she's had a past life.
Oh yeah, that's true. Fuck, I don't know. Fuck, who knows?
Because that's like, the Bible's adamant against, like, no, you don't get reborn. This is your only chance to do God's word.
I have no idea. Weird. I never thought about that.
Yeah.
Fuck. But yeah. And so I think it was, let's see, 2000, it was either 14 or 15, where my mom's like, alright, there is a convention in Tacoma for Vietnamese youth, for Vietnamese youth my age, and because it's both Vietnamese and English, if you go there and get, like, you can get your questions answered. Because I think she's still hoping to the idea that I'm questioning my faith as opposed to just not following her faith at all.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, you know what, I'm gonna go and see, because one, it's like, it'll be interesting leaving the country, even though it's fucking Tacoma, it's not like Seattle or anything.
Yeah.
And, you know, maybe this will give her some reassurance of, you know, this is not me, I'm not going back. And oh boy, what an experience that was. There was, I think, 2 different lectures where I was ready to fight the fucking lecturer. One was, he was a professor at either Harvard or some Ivy League college or university or whatever, but only became so because he couldn't become a priest, which was interesting enough, because he said, like, oh, because the calling changed for me halfway through, and I'm like, or maybe you just didn't try hard enough, because, you know, that's what you guys tell us all the fucking time.
So, did he still believe?
Oh yeah, he still believed. He just couldn't become a father, and so he became a professor on theology, I guess. I don't know. Like, also, keep in mind, this has been, 4 years ago? So I'm just, my memory has never been good. But I do, though, remember that, there was one of the people in the crowd asked, like, oh, what is the church, stands on the origin of homosexuality? Which is a fair enough question, because, like, that's interesting enough. And he starts out fine. He talks about, like, oh, well, the church thinks it could be possible from, like, the chemicals in your brain, or it could be, like, genes. Like, they don't really know for sure. I'm like, alright, fair enough. I mean, you don't know. Like, it could be chemicals. It could be nature versus nurture. It could be just gay air coming into you and just infecting you as a child. Just like a past dead person. Anyways, and then the professor goes on to talking about how, I don't know how it turned into this, but he starts talking about how if a expecting couple finds out that their child is gay while still in the belly, which I don't know how they would find out, they then you would often have to give them counsel on whether to terminate the baby, because he then likened the homosexual baby to a severely disabled child who, upon giving birth, might not only survive, but also endanger the mother's life. It's like, oh, so do you then, like, you know, like,
those are 2 totally different things.
Exactly. Like, for example, if the homosexual baby was born, they can still become, like, a functioning and, like,
normal person of society
who can provide back to society. Whereas the other person's society, I mean, like, I'm not saying, like, oh, every disabled person needs to die. That's not me being ableist. It's just, you know, it's 2 very different levels.
Yeah, one is, like, he mentioned it specifically endangering the mom's life.
Yeah.
And the other is, oh, but the child's gay.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah, but I think
there's no other problem. That's not even a problem.
But I think he's talking about is that if the gay child is born, then he is then endangering the mother's immortal soul. I think that's what he was trying to get at. Right, I know. I'm just like, really? You're gonna go there again? Because you didn't not only are you implying that, but the church has always never been quite feminist. Because, you know, whose fault is it that we got kicked out of the Garden of Eden?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there was another I was so angry there. my friends had to pull me back because I kept sitting more and more forward in my chair, and my friends like, Trinh, play Sudoku on my phone. Play the Sudoku on my phone. And I'm like, no, I'm slapping it out of my face, and I'm like, I will listen to this bullshit.
Yeah, yeah, no, I get it.
And
That'd
the
be
next
so
one
annoying.
was he was talking about how you should always save your first time for someone. Like, you shouldn't have sex before marriage. Like, because everyone who has sex before marriage, like, they will always, like, will never stay as a couple until marriage.
Oh my god.
Oh, bullshit. And then he was saying, oh, there's this guy. He had this story about how this guy who had sex before, and so when he finally met the one, except how the fuck are you supposed to know it's the one until you're dead? Because there's no way to know it's the one.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, he couldn't kept because like, when he was having sex with her, he couldn't stop thinking about the other women he had sex with.
Well,
I
that's
know.
his fucking problem.
Exactly, but and it's also
Yep.
and my one of my friends was just like, it's also he's too focused on trying to make her feel good, and like he's using his past memory as a backup, like as experience things instead of being in the present time and just focusing on her.
Yeah.
And not only that didn't help afterwards, where I was like on a fucking ranting tangent afterwards, and this girl in my group tells me, okay, let me tell you why the church thinks this way. And at that point in my life, I was still very traditional in the sense of, no, because she was younger than me and the way she was talking, I took offense to that, and I'm just like, hold the fuck up, man. You don't talk to me like that. You're younger than me. You gotta talk to me respect. That kind of old Asian kind of sense. But I didn't say that. It just was in my head.
Yeah, yeah.
And she was just trying to explain how that's why the church thinks that way or something. I don't remember her argument, but all I remember saying
Care
was,
why the church thinks that way sometimes. Like,
and then I think my reply was like, it's not so much, like, I don't, like, it's fine, whatever, but bigger problem was, the big issue with the church is that it's so large that there's no way to make the ideology same on all rounds. Like, because it's so big, there has to be different types of, like, there's different branches of Christianity because of that. And so there's no way to know which branch is the true branch. And so because it's so large, you can almost guarantee that there is a corrupt part of, like, some, like, however small or big, corrupt part of that branch that is spreading false information. Like, this is just, like, facts. There's no way that every Christianity, every branch of it is true. Because if that was true, that also would include the Westboro Baptist Church, and we all know what the majority public feel about that.
like so there's members that are banned from coming to Canada.
No, I think the entire church is like
No, it's not the entire church, but there's like a lot of the core members.
so the head family.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much is all banned from coming. I think it was something to, like, it wasn't the Sandy Hook. I think it was they were gonna come and protest.
Some funeral, I know that.
Yeah, a funeral for a fallen soldier.
Oh, that's what it was.
It
Yeah.
was
Yeah,
the guy-
it was-
It was the guy who started the church.
Wait, what?
The guy who started Westboro Baptist Church, the man,
Mhm.
Yeah.
he died. And
so
when
they-
he died, people wanted to go and picket his funeral. But
No.
instead,
No, we're talking
Oh.
about Westboro Baptist Church members. We're gonna come to Canada to protest a fallen soldier's funeral because that soldier was gay.
I never heard about that.
Yeah.
yeah, that's the
Yeah,
one.
that's what they were gonna, and then Canada was like, no, that's not happening, and they legit just banned the members from
I remember
coming.
I was so fucking happy that day. I was laughing so hard. I'm like, fuck
Yeah.
you guys.
Yeah, they made it so that, like, even if they tried to come across the border, border security would stop them.
Yeah.
And be like, no, you're not allowed into Canada, you're on the blacklist.
Which is funny because to realize that Canada has a blacklist.
Yeah. The only people on that blacklist are Westboro Baptist members. But yeah, I know it went in the reverse where, like, when the founding guy died or whatever, a bunch of people wanted to go, like, picket his funeral and protest his funeral, which I'm one of those people where I'm just like, although yes, I could say he'd probably 100% deserve it,
But at the same time,
but at the same time, you don't
want to go down to their level.
Wallow in the
Yeah.
mud with pig.
yeah, don't stoop to their level.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it's a funeral too. Like, never mind who died. Like, it's for a place for people to mourn the departed person. Like, let's not sacrilege. I mean, like, Westboro Baptist has stomped over all that all over already, but you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Alright, so just to get back. So, yeah. And I'm telling this girl that there has to be a percentage, however small or big, that is corrupted, because it's what's the saying? Um, all power, absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, basically. And like she goes like, "You will not change my faith and belief in this." And I'm looking at her, I'm like, I fucking wasn't trying to.
If you're shook, maybe you should start questioning
Exactly.
your faith.
Like, and then there was another girl, and it got to, like, the tension was so heavy to the point that one other person was just like, "Let's go play cards!" And I, like, stopped and looked at everyone, and I could see how nervous everyone was looking. I'm like, yeah, fuck it, let's go. I don't feel like talking about this anymore.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and there was, like, another girl there talking about how she was raised in or she went to a Roman Catholic private school, and part of her grade 12 assignments was to write, like, an essay, and where your thesis is basically you questioning the religion, and then you trying to either agreeing with the question, or disagreeing with it.
Okay, so you're basically like proving or disproving.
Yeah, like basically you're saying like, oh well, here's an issue with the Bible, what are you gonna do about it?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Which I'm like, fair enough, that makes sense. Like, you have to understand, like, if you can't follow the scripture of any religion blindly, because no scripture is written perfectly. It's written hundreds of thousands of years ago. They weren't really meant for modern people.
No, yeah.
And so, and then, like, I swear to God, like, and then I sprained my ankle on the way home.
Ooh.
Not even on, like, the trip home. I was, like, 2 feet away from my house door, and I tripped right in front of the window. Yeah, that was not fun.
Any religious person sitting here is gonna be like, "Oh, that's karma from God."
Yeah. Except God doesn't use karma.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. I always love it when they say that. I'm like, so you're this devout religious person?
Yeah,
you
like,
don't know that karma is not part of Christianity.
It's
its own separate thing.
Isn't it? I thought it was part of Buddhism and Hinduism.
Maybe.
Because I always get, like, I know that the line is slightly blurred between the two, because I feel, wasn't it like Buddhism came from Hinduism? I can't remember.
Or one or the other. That'd be something that we'd have to look up.
Yeah, we can talk. That's another thing. That's also another thing. My mom was adamant that Christianity did not come from Judaism, and I'm like, isn't it? Because I remember as a kid I asked, like, well, because I remember that Jesus was giving the title of the King of Jews, wasn't it? Or something. So I'm like, so doesn't that make us all Jewish? And she's like, no, we're Christians, and I'm just like, what? Like, I guess now that I'm older,
is a sect of Judaism,
or
pretty
rather,
much. Like, yeah.
We branched off, but like that's the thing. It's like, no, like everyone's adamant that, or at least within Christianity, they're adamant that they just came into existence with no predecessor whatsoever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, we came from Judaism. Whether that is whether
Well, I think
that is true or not, that is how the mythology works.
I think Christianity itself more so came from Catholic, because like people hated how strict Catholic Christians were. So then there was like they pretty much branched off, but like Catholic came, because like Catholic pretty much came before.
No, I'm talking about Christianity as a whole. So that's Roman Catholic, evangelists, and Christians and everything. So people who follow, I'm talking about, like, if you believe in Jesus and the whole Holy Spirit shebang, this is Christianity.
Yeah. Okay, whether you're any type of Christian.
Yeah. I'm not talking about Christians specifically. I'm Christianity. Well, just see, that's exactly like the whole confusing as well.
People would argue against that too, because they'd be like, "I'm not a Christian. I'm a Roman Catholic Christian."
But I'm not calling you a Christian. I'm calling the whole religion Christianity.
I know,
that
but
is
they'd
what
still
it's called.
argue, because they'd be like,
and then
no,
I would punch them because they don't understand their own fucking religion. Because that is like, this is legitimately what it's called. That is your sector of religion. That's not like how Jews are like, we're not Judaism, we're Jews. We're like, that's stupid.
So I'm sitting here like, Fatal's the stoned one, I'm the drunk,
and I'm the angry.
Just the angry.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm just the fucking angry one.
the angry Asian.
Pretty much, yeah.
Alright. Be right back.
Okay.
Okay, that'll give me a bit of time to go grab my. I forgot my my opener to open up my new bottle of beer.
Do you want me to grab it? Because that'll be easier for me.
Yeah.
But I'm not Christian. I'm gonna fucking punch you. That's what's gonna happen.
Oh my god, I might like just throw that in at the opening before everything.
I'm not Christian.
Before the actual episode starts, I'm not Christian, I'm gonna punch you, that's what's gonna fucking happen.
You want me to say it like while you're recording it so you can get it clear?
No, it's okay.
I'm not Christian. I'm Roman Catholic.
Why does this smell like skunk?
Because you've had that beer for a while.
Yeah, but beer shouldn't go bad. It's alcohol. But like seriously, it smells like skunk.
It smells like beer to me, with a slight amount of skunk. Actually, it smells like deflated beer. Actually,
It shouldn't be. Everybody at work was
Alright.
telling me how
Here,
good this beer is. Let's see.
I'm back.
Hi, I'm back.
Hi.
boo, dad jokes. Same level of puns. Not good.
Oh my god.
I should not have drank all my wine.
Like I turned to my right and then you see Nikki's face distorted in disgust.
I'm gonna drink it still, but it's not good.
Alright. So where were we?
Oh yeah, me punching people, stupid people.
It's Trin's life, just
What?
punching stupid people.
No, because Nikki. Okay, so Nikki was just saying about how because I used the term Christianity as an umbrella term for all those who believe in Jesus, God, and the Holy Spirit, and that whole shebang. That some
Right.
people will be like, I'm not Christian, I'm Roman Catholic, and my response will just be like, well, shut the fuck up, I'm gonna punch you if that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, no, that's not how this works. I'm not calling you. Christianity does not mean like, because if you believe in Christianity, it does not necessarily mean you are a Christian. But if you're a Christian, it means you believe in Christianity. It's that
Right.
kind of logic. And so, yeah, so there's that. And then there was the moment of my cousin and my aunt came over from Florida to come visit us, and there was a day where me and my cousin versus air quotations versus my mom and her mom, just about our beliefs in on how religiously we should go to church. Me and my cousin was just like, well, my cousin didn't want to go to church here. She wanted to go to the church, wanted to wait until to go back and confess to the Father at her church for whatever reason. Like,
Right.
I mean, personally, I'm just like, well, fuck, like, just shouldn't really matter. But her own personal belief. And me, I was trying to explain that I don't really believe, like, I don't like going into church. Like, it's because because you're just sitting there and listening to someone that, yeah, maybe giving you life advice, but most of the advice I'm hearing is something I already fucking knew. And so that went from about 11 p.m. to 7 in the morning. And,
Right.
Yeah, and so that's what, 12, 1, 2, that's about 8 hours of just straight talking on the couch, and we got nowhere, essentially. And it was just like, I don't know why we just wasted those hours. I knew that was going to happen. And, I guess that, I think that's it. I mean, I pretty much have said, I don't know, have I said why I generally don't disagree with Christianity.
Because it's fucked up and backwards.
Yeah, it is, it's fucked up. It's contradictory. It's, uh, I don't, the beliefs they share, I don't share with them, and it's just like, oh, people, you shouldn't be allowed to, women should not be allowed to abort children. I'm like, yeah, but you can't make that as an absolute rule, because there are times where women who get pregnant find out they can't give birth without dying, and then it's not going to be a point because that child will then die with them. Or, homosexuals and transgenders are wrong because they're not natural. And I'm like, motherfucker, you cut your hair all the time. That's not natural either. Or, if you are bisexual or asexual or whatever other than straight is not right either. Which is funny because, in Christianity, the animal sheep is one of the more revered animal. Well, revered, I mean, like, more of the, yeah, I guess revered, for the lack of a better word, animals, but
it
they're
represents innocence and purity.
But here's the thing: 85% of the time they're gay.
Yeah,
they're like one of the most gayest animals on the planet. That's hilarious. Exactly, they're super gay, and it's just like, no, they're not gay. Gays, homosexuality isn't natural. And I'm like, it appears everywhere.
As there's two sheep fucking behind them.
Yeah. And you see, like, almost every species has some form of homosexuality, like.
And the thing is homosexuality plays a key role in a lot of animal kingdoms.
Yeah, especially since, for example, if there's a homosexual couple, and oh look, a child, or not child, like a baby animal just had their parent, has just been orphaned. That baby animal is no longer not just gonna die somewhere. It's just gonna be adopted by that couple.
Yeah, and we've seen and observed it happening, especially in penguins.
Mm-hmm.
So much is that a mother will undergo stress.
Yeah.
And actually abandon her egg,
which is fair enough because shit happens.
But a homosexual couple will then adopt the egg.
That's literally what happens also in human culture too. A mother might not be able to go under financial, mental, whatever stress, and she just can't support a child. She will then give that child up for adoption, and then, oh look, who adopts babies? Mostly, I'm not gonna say mostly, but it's it's not homosexual couples.
It's usually the homosexual couple because they don't have an egg to look after. They don't have a kid to look after.
Exactly. It's not like, I can't remember, there was a video and I was just listening. It's like, oh, it's not homosexual people who are giving up their kids for adoption.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, honestly, I think that's about it. Any questions? Ow, fatal.
Sorry, I'm trying to fix my headphones.
Alright, let's just wait.
Let me just mute my mic for half a second.
Alright.
Yeah, no worries.
Oh,
that was good.
The burp?
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like I'm spitting on everyone right now. I'm spitting on you and spitting on myself.
You did once, but I wasn't gonna say anything.
Thank you, but I don't know why am I fucking spitting.
Because you get so, impassioned, people forget to swallow. And then it just kind of goes, pew!
It can also be because my throat hurts too, so I'm not swallowing as much as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yay! You're back again.
I'm back.
So, just, I guess a bit of silence so Nikki can edit that part out.
There we go.
Alright. I guess that's it. Do you guys, have any questions for me to answer?
I don't think so, really. I mean, any question I had, I was, like you, was asking during the...
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't freaking forget them.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. No, I totally get where you're coming from with how, your mother... I agree that, it seems like your mother has an attachment to it. How it feeds her in a way that it doesn't feed you.
Yeah.
Right? And I think it's important that you recognize that, and that it doesn't have to.
Yeah. And, that was another thing I was gonna say. And as much as I bad talk about my mom, in life and on this podcast, she is trying her best. She's doing what she knows um, with the skills that she has. I mean, she went from she had she she had the communists take most of her family's wealth when she was a very young girl. Had to drop had didn't even finish I think elementary in order to and had to stop going to school in order to help her mother and her family of um, 8, by the way. So like besides her there were 9, so in total there were 9 kids. And she's the second youngest, and then she crossed the fucking ocean on this tiny ass boat that was never meant to be like she crossed oceans, had staying like into 2 different countries on 3 on 3 different continents. I think Malaysia's part of Asia, isn't it? So 2 different countries on 2 different continents, and then finally settled down to Vancouver here. And I can't imagine the stress and the thoughts that she's gone to, like, which is why personally, like, if there is ever a World War III, I really hope my mom's dead before that happens, because I don't want her to go through another war. It's just that it's not fair for her.
Yeah. Yeah, and like even earlier I was even wanting to say, I'm like, okay, but your mom is kind of badass at the same time.
Yeah, she is. My mom is incredibly badass. Like she used to do the drums. She was she played the badminton. Like she was such a good badminton player that she got into like the citywide tournament. She is phenomenal she's a phenomenal seamstress and a great cook. She has great work ethics. She has all these great skills and everything, and it's just her personality quirks. And I love my mom. I really do. I mean, I really care. Let me phrase that. I really care for my mom. I don't know if I really do love her, just because I have a very my definition of love has been twisted as I grew older. So there are some I really do appreciate her, but some days it's just so hard to live with her, just because she's where I got it from was she's very stubborn, and she's the type of person to be, it's either her way or no way at all. Like it has to be her way, and she doesn't realize it, but she often makes things about herself.
Oh, poor puppy.
Did you step on a dog?
No, I was trying to move her out of the way because they're having one of their play fights right now, and I'm trying not to like have it overheard.
I mean, you did until that last part. But yeah, it's just my mom's very stubborn. She's the type of person to be, it's either her way or no way at all, and she doesn't realize it. But she often makes a lot of times about herself, and I don't whether that could be stop stepping on me, cat. This is the third time.
Come here.
I will bite your paw.
Hi, sweetheart.
Yeah, whether that's a defense mechanism for PTSD or one of her anxiety depression symptoms, because I'm pretty sure she has one or the other, because my own anxiety depression doesn't just come out of fucking nowhere.
Right.
Yeah, and so mom is, I mean, yeah, like if like Nikki comparing averaging out, my mom is a pretty average person.
Yeah.
But that's only because she has very high pros and very high cons, or very low cons. So it's like she's at the end. She's at the very end of the teeter-totter, and like that's why it's like fucking balanced out.
Yeah, yeah.
Where I feel like Nikki's parents are just kind of like they're more closer to the center.
Yeah, probably in comparison to your mom.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us again for this week in talking with Trinh about her life growing up with a, would you say radical Christian mom?
I want to say radical, but it's like, yeah, I guess, for lack of a better word.
Yeah. Join us next week when we will be talking to Fatal about her growing up with her Christian parents. Did you have?
Fairly religious, yeah, not to the same extent I think as either of yours, but yes.
Okay,
Well,
so still growing up with
yours,
within religion.
or rather,
and-
your story affected you, or Christianity affected you in a different way.
Yeah.
So we'll be doing that next week. Until then, have a good night. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.